The Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 15. His legs are like pillars of marble, wedged in gold. His countenance is like Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. Now we'll look first at a Jewish interpretation of this verse. The Torah scroll is presented in the form of two pillars spoken of as two legs here. The Torah is rolled around two pieces of wood known as Etz Chaim, which means tree of life. Throughout the liturgical year, the scroll makes its way from one tree, so to speak, to the other tree as the scroll is rolled across. Now, Jews pay careful attention to the position of different stories, believing that each one relates to its close companions on either side. They are wedged in gold, in the words of this verse. It's a phrase that refers to the context or setting of each story, and I'll give you a very interesting illustration of this. The painful episode of Judah's sin with his daughter-in-law in Genesis 38 had to be told because it records the birth of a progenitor of the Messiah, a man called Perez. But God has been careful to wedge it between Judah's decision to sell Joseph instead of killing him, Genesis 37, and the vindication of his shame in the story of Joseph in Egypt, Genesis 39 to 45, in which he offers his life in place of Benjamin, Genesis 44. Typically, you see, God alleviates a painful and shameful incident by setting it within stories of honor, courage, reconciliation, and self-sacrifice. That's God's nature to do that. The story had to be told, but he was careful to surround it with gold, to wedge it in gold. Now, we could apply this interesting idea to ourselves. Paul says, "No temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man, but God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able, but with the temptation will also make the way of escape so that you may be able to bear it." That's 1 Corinthians 10:13. You see, he gives us a way of escape, similar to the stories that we've read, the stories I just referred to, on either side of Judah's shame, either side of the place of temptation and testing. God surrounds us with songs of deliverance. There are ways of escape. It's as though our time of trial and difficulty is wedged in gold. That's a beautiful thought, you know. We endure wintry times, spiritually speaking, and I wonder if you're like me. In the midst of that spiritual winter, so to speak, when the skies are leaden, and in the words of Shakespeare, when blood is nipped and ways be foul, it seems that it's always going to be like this. It always was like it, and it always will be like it. The songs of spring seem distant, the hazy warmth of summer an impossible dream. There is a saying in Judaism, represented by the three Hebrew letters, Gimel, Zayin, and Yud. These letters represent the phrase Gam ze ya'avor, which means this too shall pass. Gam ze ya'avor. You know, weeping may tarry for the night, but joy comes in the morning. Psalm 30, verse 5.